own stadium. Their opponent out of the gate, world champions Argentina. It's Vamos on One Soccer, presented by Degree. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside our One Soccer studio. Annie Petrillo, Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson. Yes, we will be on throughout the duration of Copa America, bringing you all the news about Canada, previewing, also commenting on the matches. And by the way, here are the games they're going to be playing. Let's take you to Canada's group. They are the lowest ranked in this group at 49. Chile, 42. Peru, 32nd, according to FIFA ranking. And oh, who is in their group? Yes, that's right, the reigning world champions, the reigning Copa America champions. Numero uno, Argentina. Wheels, how are you feeling about this group and even Canada's chances of advancing?
Well, I love the group, for one thing. Not only Canada playing the opening match against the world champions, Lionel Messi in Argentina, it's a fantastic way to kick off this Copa America. I think in terms of the other competition, Chile, the winners of 2015, 2016, maybe not the vintage side that they were throughout that era, but certainly the style of play will have a major effect here. Peru have made the Final Four in 4 of the last 5 Copa Americas. Again, the 2019 finalists, maybe not what they were a few years ago, but still that stylistically speaking, I think it's going to be an eye-opener for a lot of fans tuning in to Copa America for the first time. Like the World Cup test against Belgium, Croatia, a North African side of Morocco. It was a predictable style. In Copa America, it's cagey, it's tight, there's a lot of fouling, there's a lot of dissent surrounding the official. There were 41 fouls in the finals in 2021 committed between Argentina and Brazil. There'll be a lot of that, so it will be an adjustment and a different style of play. Finally, by virtue of this draw, they avoid the more difficult half come the knockout phase if they get through. Colombia, Brazil, Uruguay, 3 of the 4 top teams. So I think overall it's a decent draw for them.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think that if you're going to play tournament football, you want to play maybe the best team first and get them maybe while they haven't played anyone. And you have Argentina. We understand it's a David and Goliath type of situation. But just throw the disc as far as you can, see where you land. Then you play Peru. Get something out of that game, then there's everything to play for when you play Chile in the last match. So hopefully Canada can hit the ground running.
Remember Argentina's World Cup began in Qatar?
Saudi Arabia.
With a loss to Saudi Arabia.
So
that's, yeah, everyone likes to look at that, that's for sure. But you're right, you do wonder. I mean, obviously we saw what Canada did in their true friendlies heading on in particular against France, the 0-0 draw, heading in with confidence. We'll see how they do against Argentina. But I think you're really looking at Peru and Chile and getting results against those two countries. Let's now bring in our boy Christian Jack, who is in Atlanta, taking in all the action here as Canada gets set to play Argentina on Thursday, June 20th, 8 p.m. ET kickoff. Before we get into that match, KJ, welcome to the show. What's the mood around the Canadian camp?
Yeah, great to be with you all. It's a fantastic time to talk footy, and you know there's a lot of great excitement around not just the Canada camp, but you know this great city of Atlanta, Georgia. It's an event city, and you know we're outside the Argentine hotel right now, and let me just tell you, there's cameras either side of me here. Very busy media presence from Argentina. There's fans, there's Messi 10 shirts all across this wonderful downtown core as well. But we got the chance to spend a good 2 or 3 hours with the Canadian team today, about 20 minutes north of here. And I thought that they were very confident. I have to say that, they were very optimistic about their chances. They didn't play down the opportunity of playing a giant like Argentina, but they didn't play up the angle of being the massive underdogs either. They were confident, particularly coming off the French game last week where they drew 0-0. And some of the players were talking to me about just how much that gave them the reference points that are so new to their mind to be able to go out there and defend against this team. So, I think there's, like I said, genuine excitement. The last thing I'd say too is that there's a real intensity about this group. They've been here quite early now. On Friday and Saturday, Jesse Marsh and his coaching staff ran them through it. They had some really high, intense training sessions, and it is hot here. And they knew about that so much so that they went a lot lighter on Sunday and then started to ramp it up again Monday and started Tuesday as well. So real intensity. They want to get more sprints at them. They want to cover more ground and be more physical as well, because they know these games are going to be very physically active. So, it's been exciting talking to the players. And, of course, now the prospects of playing Argentina in just over 48 hours inside Atlanta in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Let's talk Argentina. Some cars are behind you. I wonder if that was him trying to sneak away, because I saw that crowd on Twitter. They were posting all the photos of everyone just trying to get a glimpse of the Argentine star. How is Canada preparing to take on Argentina? Maybe even in particular, how are they planning on shutting down Messi, if they've shared any of that?
Yeah, look, I think what we know right now is that we saw a little bit of a glimpse of this high-octane Canada style where they pressed the Netherlands, and many people were quite critical about how that dropped off, and we saw adjustments against the French where they defended a little bit deeper but still had a little bit of that intensity and stopping, saw some of those passes, particularly into the attackers. What I get the sense, guys, is that this is going to be more against the Dutch than it was against the French. When I asked the players today about how it's going to match up against Argentina, they think that Jesse Marsch's style, pressing, stopping gaps pretty quickly, obviously the high offense, particularly with the pace up front, that they think that suits playing Argentina. Now, it's a very physical kind of style of football. They've not played this kind of style before, particularly in a Copa America. But I think we're going to see a little bit more about that. Alistair Johnson told me today that they want to give it everything, and they shouldn't really be defending too deep. They want to be attacking. They want to be stopping the passes into midfield. They want to stand up and walk off that field believing they played the right way. He admitted they're going to be scary times. There's going to be the opposition are going to really threaten them at moments. But I think that we're going to see them be brave and be bold and are going to give it everything they can. Argentina don't lose football games. What is it? 2 out of the last 57 in almost the last 5 years. So the odds of Canada getting something out of this are slim. So I think they feel like the ability to go out there and be the best version of themselves. And they admitted to me today, some of them, that they feel like they've progressed at a quicker rate than they would have thought of so far in this camp. That we're going to see a little bit more of that aggressive style, and it'll be interesting to see how they do it against the world champions and the reigning Copa America champions as well.
Looking forward to that on Thursday. Good stuff, KJ. We'll talk to you throughout the week. Again, the new show, Vamos, on One Soccer here, presented by Degree. I never understood when people see cameras and a microphone, why do they walk towards it when they're supposed to be walking around it? Never ceases to amaze me. As we take a look at the projected 11 here for Canada, this is how we think they're going to line up against Argentina. And guys, it looks like we liked what we saw against France.
I'm not sure why you would change things up. It seems like he settled on that center-back pairing, and with good reason. Bobito and Cornelius. Crepeau, based on his performance against France, I think he edges out Sinclair. And Davies at left back. It seems like he wants to play him there. I think there's less questions about what the 11 is, more questions pertaining to the depth of this team.
Yeah, that's really where it lies, right? Who's a 12th, 13th player coming off the bench? And it's like for like in certain positions, right? Maybe Schaffenberg for Miller or Millar. Just how they figure out that. But for me, that's 11 going into this game.
We went back and forth. We're like, okay, do you sacrifice an attacking player for maybe adding another player into the midfield for this game? I just don't think, Jordan. They have another midfielder that's suited. Like, they don't play with the 6. They don't really have one that plays at the highest level. So I just don't think that a change like that makes sense.
And then when you have that opportunity, that one chance maybe you have in the first half, you want Leon on it. You want someone that scores goals for Canada, that is a fox in box and is dangerous. You want him there. You don't want to sacrifice a midfielder for him.
There is one change, though, from that France game, and that is at the armband moves from Stephen Eusakio's arm to Alphonso Davies, and it seems to be permanent. Jesse Marsch making the announcement Alphonso Davies is the captain of this team. Does this feel like a new beginning for him?
It should. It has to be. Look, there aren't many times as a football player where you get a new lease on life, a new coach, new brothers coming into the squad. This is his team now, 23 years old. No one is exposed to a more winning mentality and a winning environment than Alphonso Davies. This has to be the time, Wheels, where he gets things together and really sorts it out. I'm not asking him to solve all the problems. I want him to be present. I want him to be the best version of himself. And when things go good or bad, I want him to be the face.
Is Alphonso Davies the best captain for this team now? No, probably not. But everything that Marsch and his staff is doing right now is in preparation for 2026. And you want to give him the license to grow into that role. He's the best player on this team. He plays for Bayern Munich. He's learning from the likes of those Thomas Muller, Harry Kane, Joshua Kimmich, like true leaders in the game of football. He knows what it takes to be a true professional and what it takes to be in that role. This also ensures that he's going to be completely bought in as well. He's not just a squad player.
Yeah.
He's taking ownership of his role inside that room. He's now the public face in front of the camera, in front of microphones, being put in the position to engage, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, if criticism comes to this team, it's going to come Alphonso Davies' way. That's why Marsh has done this. You provide him ownership of this team and their fortunes going forward. And look, there's been a lot of off-field noise with this team. I don't think that Davies cares about any of that. I think he just wants to go on and play. And I think he's uniquely suited to do that. I know that Stefan Eustachio's name is being put out, obviously a leader in his own right, but we're not sure what his role within his club football side, Porto, is going to be. He's barely played any football since the new year. You need to ensure that your best players are being put in leadership roles, and Alphonso Davies, through everything that's going to happen over the next bit, it might be baptism by fire, Jordan, but I think that'll pay off over the long run.
Yeah. Who else do you think could have a really good tournament here?
A lot of eyes on various players. Ismail Kone is the name that first of all comes to mind. He just turned 22 last week, played 43 games in all competitions for Watford last season. And it's a player that I know that Canadians are familiar with him now. He started 10 straight Canada games when available, but this is his chance to introduce himself to an international audience. He was one of the best players on the field against France. He's dynamic, and he plays a position that's so thin for this Canada side as well. So the Ismail Kone party, it's about to begin.
But I'm on the train as well, Ismail Kone, in terms of, because of, you mentioned the word dynamic. As a midfielder, a big part of playing that position is about presence. So that's defensively and offensively. When things get tough, do you want the ball? When you just gave it away, do you still want it? He's a guy, he looks mature beyond his years. You would never look at him when he's playing, specifically against France, and say, this guy's 21. He's asking for it, he's trying to control the tempo of the game, and he's a player that keeps getting better and better every time he puts on the shirt.
What about the guy we just had on our show, One Nation, who, you know, was polite when talking about Italian food, still need to work on that. Tajon Buchanan, what about him?
I need Tajon Buchanan to break out this tournament for Canada. He is a superstar in this team, but let's be honest, for Canada, since this game against Jamaica, that was his last goal for the Canadian men's national team. No goals in his last 17 for Canada. Another player only played 161 minutes at Inter after that mid-season move. He's a player that's relied upon to do so much from a defensive perspective, but he needs to be more involved in terms of creating goals as well. I don't know if he's just feeling timid, maybe not sure because he hasn't been playing enough at the club level, Jordan, but he's a player that needs to step up if Canada are going to do anything in this tournament.
I agree with you 100%, full stop. We know the talent that he possesses. We know that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. That's why I love the way he plays. For Canada, it's been a bit dormant, and that's okay if he can turn it up right now. Understand moves sometimes, going from Club Brugge, going to Inter Milan. There's a lot that could happen, and maybe your confidence might be a bit skewed or taken aback. But this system, the way that Canada's playing, is built for someone like this. He can defend. He can go forward. I trust Tajon Buchanan against anyone 1v1 to get the better out of them at some point in the match. He just needs to have that quality and that moment in the game, but we're going to see a backflip in this tournament in one of these 3 games from Tajon Buchanan scoring.
Provided he eats some lasagna.
After that, rice and pizza.
Okay, if you missed the interview, it's One Nation. You can check it out on One Soccer YouTube. Tajon Buchanan was a great sport, that's for sure. As mentioned, we're going to be covering Copa America right here on One Soccer out throughout the tournament. We'll see you again on Thursday. We're going to have One Soccer presented by Degree. That'll be June 20th at 3 p.m. ET. We're going to get you set for the game against Argentina, and then we're going to have a live reaction show on YouTube following the match. Join us. Maybe you can just tell us about what you liked, what you didn't like about the game. Make it be interactive. Let's have some fun after the match. Now, Thursday will mark the first competitive match between Canada and Argentina, but they did play a friendly in 2010. It was the only time they played against each other. It was in Buenos Aires, Argentina. It was the final send-off for the home side before they left for the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. 52,000 in attendance. No Messi, he was rested, but you saw Maradona was the coach. 5-0, the final for Argentina.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada, because this journey belongs to everyone.
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer.
Canadian soccer fans, we're different. We cheer on the Reds while cheering out our motherlands and each other's lands. Soccer is in our hearts. Our roots are on display. Not to divide, but to unite. Because to us, soccer's more than just a game. It's who we are. From coast to coast to coast, it connects us all. Cheers to us. Cheers to the game.
Degree 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree keeps working when others stop.
Yeah, I think these games are really important, not only for myself, for the entire team, for the entire nation. We want to be able to put in a good match against a very worthy opponent, a world champion, and then obviously with a player like Messi on the pitch, you'd love to be able to put in a performance that everyone could be proud of, but not only just proud of, we want to be able to get out of here with a good result and, you know, dream big and beat the world champion. So, yeah, it'd obviously be special, it'd be great, but once the whistle kicks off, I think, you know, our team better than many others will be competing, will be obviously respectful and know who they are, but yeah, we're going to go for the win and do it at whatever cost.
Not intimidated at all that Argentina, the reigning world champions and reigning Copa America champions, that will be the first opponent for Canada in Copa America. Andy, Wheels, Jordan with you. This is Vamos on One Soccer presented by Degree. Argentina, as I mentioned, world champions since then. They've won 13 of the 14 games they've played since being crowned world champs. How good are they?
pretty good. Yeah, they've won 5 in a row coming into this tournament as well. Look, they're the best goalkeeper in the world in many people's opinion,
yes,
including my own, and Emi Martinez. They're good at playing it out of the back with players like Lisandro Martinez and Christian Romero. That Lionel Messi guy is pretty good. Up top, the fact that you have Alvarez or Lautaro Martinez to play off him. They have some different players that can play in the midfield as well. Someone that I'd love to see Larea up against is Paredes, just in terms of they just don't take any BS. But McAllister and Enzo Fernandez they all complement each other so well. What's crazy about this team was the question was whether they could ever win with Lionel Messi. And he retired in 2016. He said he was done because he did all he could. Comes back in, win a Copa America, led into the World Cup, and they're the best that we've seen them since the days of Diego Maradona.
This is what's so crazy. People do forget that. Remember, he missed a penalty kick a few years back in Copa America, said, I'm done, this is it.
Lost to Chile in back-to-back Copa Americas and penalties.
And he's like, this is it. He retires from the national team, goes back, and they finally win it last year. And here's the thing. He's been competing in Copa America for so long. Just by merely stepping onto the pitch, he's already going to break a record. This is his 7th appearance in the tournament. He will then play his 35th match. Look at these other records that he is chasing. Obviously, it's a team effort, but Jordo, you're playing Lionel Messi here.
You are, and everyone for Argentina plays for him. Of course they're playing for their country. Of course they want Argentina to do well. But you saw it at the World Cup. everyone was bought in for Lionel Messi. Everyone wants him to be the hero. They're putting in the extra yards, they're putting in the extra kilometers for this guy. So Argentina is a team destined for greatness, but they're not a team you want to play against.
And they're finally built to just take advantage of the way he plays as well.
Yes.
Complementary players around him. He has players that he likes, like Rodrigo de Paul, like different players that can come into this team that allow him to do what he does best, and that's finding those pockets of space and exploiting them.
We had the privilege of seeing Canada against two highly ranked nations in Netherlands and France in friendlies before this. So we also got to see Jesse Marsch's system with this team. Where can they be exposed? What did you like? What did you not like?
Yeah, I think that's worthwhile to point this out because I think this is where Argentina and Messi can expose Canada. And that's a connection between the central midfield and the back four. There were times in this game, once there was a separation of that space, they got exposed. Look, Alistair Johnston pressing out to take on Memphis Depay, who will drop in that Messi role in that instance, chance the other way. Ismail Kone trying to bring it out of the back. Look at Eustachio because they don't play with a 6. Look at that space for players to run into, Jordan.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the biggest question about this Canadian structure.
You've never been more right, Wheels. So with the two in the midfield, if they pop out, there's space. Even here, you can see they want to press. Ismail Kone, Eustachio, Cornelius steps. The Dutch are off to the races. If Canada has any moments like this against Argentina, they will be punished.
They were better against France, Andy, but France wasn't utilizing that area of the field. They were trying to attack wide.
Yeah.
Argentina loves to play through Messi in the middle, finding those pockets of space. That's an area. Kone, Eustachio connected with the back four. That is critical for Canada to have any chance in this game.
And I just remember the second goal in the World Cup against France, how quickly they can break. Messi got it, played it down the wing, 10 seconds, it's a goal. If Canada aren't tight and aren't protecting the middle of the pitch, they're toast.
Well, maybe this is where Kamal Miller comes in and you're like, hey, you played with him in Miami.
Tell you the secrets?
Can you tell us the secrets and how we can stop
Not sure
him?
that will work.
Tell us the Messi secrets.
I feel like people have tried that before
yeah.
because he can hurt you in so many ways.
Yeah, and let's show you how Lionel Messi plays because it's scoring goals and assisting goals. Like, he just loves to find the pockets of space. Look, he's at the top of the screen right there, and he just finds that pocket and boom, because the midfielder playing too high to come back to play him, and you don't want him to pull out the defensive backs as well. And just watch Messi in these clips. Look at this little touch, pocket of space, play it through, boom, goal. That's Suarez scoring.
The clips that you picked out, Wheels, they're not 10 yards of space.
No.
They're 3 yards. But he's that clever with his first touch, and it's one of the things we talked about off air. Either Messi's getting the ball and he's
right in the pocket. He just finds that pocket every time.
Every time. Either he's the one getting into spots to shoot, or he's setting up his players. And you have the Di Marias, the McAllisters, the Alvarez that are ready to go and score if he has a little bit of room.
That's the thing, Messi. Everyone lauds the fact that Messi, unbelievable on the ball and the things that he can do. It's his work off the ball, for me, that sets up everything else. No one is more intelligent at exposing a very little amount of space or a big amount of space.
He
He's
walks
just
around
incredible.
just scanning. He just looks out, oh, there's an area, and it goes through.
And now they play almost in a 4-4-2 where it provides a structure for him to do it. So it works perfectly for Scaloni and Argentina.
Sounds like Thursday's going to be a piece of cake then.
Come on, Canada!
This is actually a great test. I mean, obviously, this is what they've wanted. Now, this is a tournament where 6 CONCACAF teams are in Copa America this year. Of course, that includes the United States. They are hosting the tournament across 14 cities. Brazil, last one in 2019. No Neymar, but just as threatening. Let's look at top contenders next when we return.
This is not just laundry. This is laundry that's one and done. This is the ultra-fast combo laundry machine that does both washing and drying cycles, so you can take a load off. This is cleaning large loads in about 2 hours. No more checking, no more forgetting. Profile is revolutionizing laundry, making any room the laundry room. This is GE Profile.
Life's better with extra space. Space for family. Space for memories. Space for you. Try 4 weeks free. Access Storage, proud partner of Canada Soccer.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs. Only from Maple Lodge Farms.
In 5 years, we'll be doing this, but in Japan.
In 5 years, my family will be joining me.
I'll be living in the city.
Not living in the city.
In 5 years, I'll be king of the court.
I'll be playing for Canada.
I'll be playing for Canada.
In 5 years? Where won't I be in 5 years?
Degree 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree keeps working when others stop.
Here's a look at the winners of Copa America throughout the years. Argentina, Uruguay, they are tied at 15, and now 6 CONCACAF teams are competing this year. Can they disrupt things when it comes to that board right there? Let's talk about some of the top contenders as we welcome you back to Vamos on One Soccer, presented by Degree. Who are some of the top contenders?
Well, shall we start with Brazil?
Yeah.
Because they're pretty good as well. They ended up losing or not winning their final 4 games in 2023. Brought in Dorival Jr. as a coach, has tightened up things up a little bit. Vinicius Jr., though, still struggles for Brazil. 3 goals in 30. It's very, very weird. Endrick could play a big role at 17. They included Lucas Paquetá, who's involved in this gambling thing. He's in the team. So there's some distraction there and obviously pressure anytime that Brazil plays in a Copa America. I'm looking at Colombia. They're unbeaten in their last 23 games. The last time they lost was to Argentina in February of 2022. Over that span, they beat Brazil, they beat Spain, they beat Germany. This team simply doesn't lose anymore. James Rodriguez also now playing, having a bigger role in this team once again. He's still only 32. James. It's incredible. Don't sleep on them. I think they're in the same group as Brazil. If they win that group, you could potentially avoid Uruguay under Bielsa, who looks dangerous in the other group, making your path a little bit easier. So it could open up. That group game between Colombia and Brazil is going to be big.
Colombia is not the team that people are putting down. They're putting down the Brazils and they're putting down Argentina. But Colombia could sneakily be good in this tournament. Uruguay is looking good as well. But for me, I think my logic with Brazil is I feel like they're going to do well because normally you go into a tournament with a lot of confidence, playing teams and winning. That hasn't been the case so far. So I think that they have room to grow, and hopefully they do at this tournament.
Quickly, give me a name of a CONCACAF team you think has the best chances of making it out of the group.
Based on the group?
Yeah.
USA. I think so.
I think it's going to be one of Jamaica or Mexico.
Ooh,
They're in a
that's
group
a
with
good group
Ecuador
as well.
and Venezuela. So that's the easiest group on paper.
All right. I love it. And this is easy to do because we get to talk about an incredible tournament, Copa America, right here on this new show, Vamos, presented by Degree. Tune in throughout our platforms as we will take you through the tournament. Canada making their debut on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern against Argentina. We will be up right after live on YouTube. See you next time.
Degree 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree keeps working when others stop.
In 5 years, we'll be doing this, but in Japan.
In 5 years, my family will be joining me.
I'll be living in the city.
Not living in the city.
In 5 years, I'll be king of the court.
I'll be playing for Canada.
I'll be playing for Canada.
In 5 years? Where won't I be in 5 years?
Do we really have any choice at all?
Everyone has a choice.
And every choice has a consequence.
Which do you choose?
Life's full of tough